Okay, so I tried to put some pixie dust in my hair, and now it just looks like glittery dandruff. But either way, I want to talk about Peter Pan and Wendy. Now, there were issues with this. It wasn't the greatest film ever made. I love Hook. I will always love Hook. I think it is the most beautiful visually of the Peter Pan redos. Now, yeah, okay. This isn't the greatest thing ever. The one big qualm I have with it, oh yeah, I'm Abby with More City Nerds. Like, share, comment, subscribe. This is going to be a really quick one because I don't know what's going on right now. I really don't. I'm like, I don't know. But either way, I love Peter Pan. It's like this weird, it's a slightly disturbing story if you really scratch the surface. But also, I don't know, it has a special place in my heart, and not the movie, the story about it. Just like, I don't know. And I am very aware that the original Disney one has very terrible racial things going on in it. And I thought this did a very good job of not cramming girls can do things down your throat, but it did it organically, and it did that very well. I did like Jude Law. I really liked Alex from A-Town Review's review on this, because he was like, it felt like they were holding him back. I agree with that to an extent. But I also feel like if we would have let him have free reign, they wouldn't have been able to do what they want with the character. What they did with the character, I have more of an issue with. Stop trying to redeem these people. Just let Captain Hook be Captain Hook. Things I really loved about this. The sea shanties, throwing the songs in there, I really liked that. I thought that was fun. I enjoyed that. There were aspects of Jude Law being Captain Hook that I really loved. But I do feel like he could have been a bit more out there. But that's not his fault. This is also for children. You know what I'm saying? But I thought that it was visually stunning. I thought that it really, it took the old school and the new school and put them together very well. Another thing they did with the camera angles that I thought was extremely interesting and smart to do was, if you notice when the kids are looking up at the pirates, they're shooting it from an angle like they're looking up. And that's exactly how it feels as a kid looking at scary adults, even if they're not being mean to you. You're like, oh no, I'm scared. But things that I was shocked about, the amount of violence, the amount of death, and I loved it for that. I was like, wow, you guys really aren't shying away from this stuff. I loved the crocodile scene. I loved the callback to the cartoon when Captain Hook's on the snout of it. I really loved all of that. Smee, he did a really great job. I loved him. But Bob Hoskins and Hook and Smee in the cartoon is so good. I loved Tiger Lily. I got worried for her. But does anybody else feel like they're about to do a spin-off with her, or they're going to try to? Now, I don't know if she said little brother in the movie because it was like something in her people that would be said, or is that literally your little brother? Now, when I did a whole reaction, if you want to follow my Instagram, my Snapchat, my things like that, I normally react to things on there, or TikTok sometimes if I remember to put it on there. But I really, them flying to Neverland blew my mind. I loved that. I loved the incorporating some of the old, like We Can Fly and the old music and the old jammies into the score. I thought that was awesome. I didn't like the squid people mermaids. We were only trying to drown her, so I wish we would have got to see that. But either way, they looked cool. Everything looked great. And like I said, it looked almost like the 90s met with today, and you can tell, and this is exactly what I said with the Willow series, save the Willow series. It's great. It's a fun jam and time. Anybody who says they don't like it, screw you. Me and Mom had a great time watching that. It also shows how much George Lucas can world build. You can go and watch my other video, but you could tell when people are on a set, and it makes a difference, okay? Now, when we had the beginning and Nana starting to float in the pixie dust, I loved that. I loved Tinkerbell not being able to talk. Another thing that at first I was like, no, Tinkerbell should be more of a bee, but the fact of the matter is, no, I liked seeing these women get along, and I almost teared up and cried when at the end she's like, thank you for hearing me. I was like, oh my God, I love this. And I loved her whole vibe. I was all about that, and I thought that was a really cool, nice change to it. My main thing was, if you are going to make this more about Wendy, have the balls to call it Wendy. Don't call it Peter Pan and Wendy. I also thought Peter Pan could have had a way better entrance. I thought his entrance was a bit lame. All of these kids were totally adorable. These are child actors. Who's the younger one? Michael? What an adorable... All the kids were adorable. But I thought the sets were amazing. I thought the child actors were doing the best they could. I thought they could have let Jude Law get a little more crazy with it. But that was my biggest issue with Captain Hook. Don't make him and Peter friends. Don't make it some redeemable BS. That part I really didn't like. But seeing the Jolly Roger fly, the effects in this I loved. I thought it was great. But I definitely feel like there's going to be some type of Tiger Lily spinoff, which I don't hate. She was a great character. I thought she had some great lines. I thought she was used just enough. And I really liked this balance of boys and girls both doing things without cramming it down your throat. Now, what I really love is when people go, don't put politics in there, and don't put this in there. And I'm like, that's been there forever, dummies. And when she said, this magic belongs to no boy, I was like, oh. And it's just like, no, it's nice. And then she saves Peter. But it was a balance. Peter also did stuff. Wendy also did stuff. It was, and I loved it. And I just feel like if I'm going to sit down and watch this with a kid, this is a fun, good time, in my opinion. Is this the Citizen Kane of Disney remakes? And honestly, I always say this. Do you want to know what gets overlooked? Cinderella. The Cinderella, the first live-action remake they did, gets overlooked, and it shouldn't. It's very well done, and it's just kindness and being kind, being a strength, and I love that. And that needs to be acknowledged more as a live-action remake. But like I said, have the balls to just call this Wendy. And I would have been like, I see what you're doing there, and I like it. But I don't mind it. And the sets, everything, I loved all that. I loved the singing added in. I loved the pirates. I loved the costuming. I did love all of that. But there was definitely a few things where I'm like, But then again, like I said, you're working with a ton of child actors. I'm not going to hate on child actors. I thought they did a very good job. The one thing I wish, and it's not against Peter Pan, but Wendy looked like, not a grown-ass adult, but she looked like an older teen, and he looked like a genuinely little boy. And I'm like, could you make them a little bit closer in age, But, and it's not like there's any tension, I can't say things, tension between them because they're kids. But, like, obviously Wendy and Peter have a crush on each other, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, could you have at least made them like, I don't know, he just looked really young compared to her. And I didn't hate it. I thought they all did a very good job. I thought Wendy specifically and Tiger Lily did amazing. I loved all of the Lost Boys, and some of their costumes were really creepy. And this is what I mean about the violence. We had people getting hit with arrows. We had people getting taken out. None of the pirates lived at the end except for Hook and Smee. And, me and Mom are in the middle of Deadwood. I didn't think she'd watch Deadwood, but she loves Ian McShane. And then Brian Cox showed up, so of course, now she's like really involved. But I was like, this has got a lot of language in it. And my mom doesn't mind swearing and violence as long as it has a purpose. But Deadwood, if you've watched it, it's a lot. But she loves it. She loves Al Swearingen. She's almost done with it. But either way, when I saw we're in the middle of watching, then I was like, oh my God, it's Alma. It's Alma. It's Mrs. Garrett. So Mrs. Garrett was the mom in this, and I got geeked about that. But I really loved the ending when she believed them. She believed them, and she's like, that's Peter Pan. And then I'm like, why did you get her and Alan Tudyk, who I also love, A Knight's Tale for life. A Knight's Tale and Team America were the only movies that my ex owned on DVD when we first started dating, so I watched those a billion times. It's called A Lance, duh. But yeah, no, and I like that the parents weren't total jerks, like in the cartoon. They make the parents kind of way more mean in the cartoon. In this, they make them more just parents, just parents. Also, I don't know, if you came home with 15 kids, I don't know, my mom would probably panic, but I also understand this mom knows, like, Neverland, oh my God, Neverland's real, and these are the Lost Boys, like, I'm going to take them in, and I love that. I love the diversity. Not only did you have, and this is what I was saying to people on Facebook the other day when they were like, oh yeah, representation this, and I go, representation isn't just the color of your skin. That is extremely important, but we had people with disabilities, we had kids with disabilities, we had women pirates, and there's nothing wrong with that, and I thought that this movie did it very well. Like I said, they balanced the boys and girls can do stuff, and that's okay. We have men and women pirates, and you don't even notice it, but it works, and it's great, and I really liked that, and it wasn't cramming a message down your throat, but also it was there, and this is how you do it correctly in a children's movie. That's been going on forever. Dummies just like to hone in on it now, okay? But all in all, I really enjoyed Peter Pan and Wendy, but I'm also biased towards it. I know the original is not, it's got some rough stuff in it that is not okay, so I really like the changes they made. Tiger Lily had some really hitting your heart moments, and some of the stunts in this were really great. I was shocked at the violence, and like I said, this isn't so much a review as it is like, okay, for children's movies, if I'm going to sit down and watch this with an 8-year-old, I'd give it a 7. It might not be the first thing I'd want to put on, but I thought it was good. I like I said, I love the Tinkerbell stuff. I loved having women working together instead of being jerks to each other. I thought that was a nice little change. But wait, the one thing I did think was weird was like they were just straight up kidnapping Wendy in the beginning, right? Like, they were just, and then, oh my God, and then when her brother was like, right on Tinkerbell, I was like, whoa, geez. I reacted to all of this on my Snapchat and on my Instagram, and I was like, oh my God. But I did. There were parts of this I really, really enjoyed. And like I said, is it the Citizen Kane? No. Is it good? Yeah. Is it a great movie to throw on for your 7, 8, 9, 10, 11-year-old? Yeah, it's a good time. It's one of those things that I could put on babysitting somebody, and I wouldn't mind actually sitting down and watching it with them. You get what I'm saying? And I love Captain Hook as a character. Nothing beats Dustin Hoffman. I know Hook isn't the greatest movie of all time, but for nostalgia, I love it. But also, I think people overlook some of those performances and those sets. And I think these sets were gorgeous. I loved it. I loved Artax, the horse. I mean, I know it's not Artax, but I love the horse with the perm. And some of the stunts they were doing were awesome. The whole fight on the Jolly Roger was awesome. And yeah, if you're bored and you have kids at home and you're like, okay, what's new that we haven't watched yet? Throw on Peter Pan and Wendy. Is it the greatest? No. Is it visually stunning? Yes. Is it beautiful? Yes. Is it a good time? Yeah. You could sit through it and or maybe, I don't know, watch half of it and take a little nap skis. But I really did enjoy it. The one part I did have issues with was the Captain Hook, Peter Pan stuff. I was like, stop doing this, Disney. Just make somebody a bad guy. Make Captain Hook a bad guy. Oh, and by the way, they just ripped off Kingdom Hearts. I'll put the clip in. They just straight out ripped off Kingdom Hearts. Because I said that in my reaction. I was like, oh my God. She's going to walk to the edge of the plank. And you guys know what I'm talking about if you played it. Sora! And then he's like, I can't believe it. I flew. And then Sora goes off the plank and then flies back up. I'm like, they're going to pull the Sora. That was straight out of Kingdom Hearts.
Fly, Sora. Just believe, and you can do it.
Thanks, Peter.
Hey, don't mention it. You didn't think I'd leave you and Tink behind, did you?
I'm sure it's in a bunch of things, but I didn't mind this, and I really did like it. And there were things that made my heart happy. The music that they incorporated, seeing the Jolly Roger fly, seeing it tied up in London. When they took "Boy, Why Are You Crying" from the beginning of the story and put it at the end, I was like, oh my God, I love it. But yeah, this isn't something that I would pick to watch every other day or something. But it's a little jammy, and I enjoyed it, and I had a fun time watching it, and that's what I want when I watch a movie. This is what I said on Facebook. I said, if I leave a movie or stop watching a movie and it makes me want to dress up like a pirate and sing sea shanties, it did the right thing, and that's exactly what this did. It's much better than Pan. It's much better. Remember that with the Nirvana stuff that people went nutso about? Honestly, fundamentally, it may be, if we broke it down, no, I still think Hook is better, but there are problems with Hook. There are issues with Hook, but I don't care what nobody says. It's the GOAT. It's the greatest. We have Rufio. Shut up. But yeah, this is a jammin' good time, and I like this Disney Plus. But next time, if you're going to make it more about, honestly, I think you were afraid of the lashback, so you didn't want to just call it Wendy. It's the same thing with, well, not the same thing, but because, God forbid, we name something after a girl, and then it's a political agenda. Oh, no! But the story of Peter Pan, like I said, I know my stuff, is more about Wendy. It's all about getting Wendy there. You know what I'm saying? So I did, but there were things about this that I really did enjoy, but the main big problem I had was, and that crocodile stole the show. He was eating everybody, murking everybody. Oh my God, how about when they tied Michael and George up, and they were like, yep, Tide's gonna come in, you're gonna drive. There was some really, like, violent, gruesome stuff that was going down in this for Disney Plus, and I was like, good. It wasn't like bloody and horrible and gory, but it was fun, and it was like, no, we're not shying away from it, but we're also not going full out, and I can appreciate that. But I thought the alligator crocodile scene going through all that was pretty fun, and I liked it, and I don't care what anybody has to say. I don't want to hate on people's acting, but then there's also the director and stuff, so I'm like, Peter Pan, I liked it. Like I said, I liked all these kids, but Peter is kind of a jerk, and he's an arrogant little jerk all the time, though. But there's something about this kid at some points. One thing I really did like, though, was when, you know how Peter Pan's always saying, to die will be an awfully big adventure, but when Hook gets him, he's like, I don't like this. And it's like, okay, no, you got a big wake-up call there. And I liked that. It was like a flip, and I really enjoyed that part. And I enjoyed seeing Tiger Lily do more. And I enjoyed the costuming of her indigenous people and how well they did that. And they didn't sing terribly racially insensitive songs and things like that, or have children putting on headdresses and doing terrible stereotypical things. But yeah, all in all, I thought this was fine, and give Tiger Lily a spinoff. I think she should get it, and please don't. That's the thing. Don't do no Hook redemption. That really bothered me. But other than that, yeah, it's a fun, good time. This isn't for me. This is for kids. So for kids, yeah, I'll give it a 7. For adults who want to watch Peter Pan, go watch Hook. This for adults, let's say it's a 5.5. For kids, this is a solid 7 or an 8, maybe. I could see kids really liking this, but it's got a good, fun message. It looks great. Check it out. Peter Pan and Wendy. If you ain't got nothing to do, check it out. I'm Abby with Motor City Nerds. Let me go and try and get all this out of my hair. I am on OF. I'm on TikTok. I'm on all the stuff down below. If you want to see me react to things while I watch them, sometimes it's on Snapchat, it's on TikTok, it's on Instagram, and all my links are down below. But yeah, I like this, and especially if you're a fan of this story, and that's what I mean. Peter Pan is once you scratch the surface, Peter Pan is kind of a disturbing story. I thought they were going to go all out and have. I thought they were going to go all out and have like Peter Pan like straight up be like I thought it was going to do some type of bigger twist, and it didn't. But yeah, I mean, if you want to watch a pirate movie, go watch Pirates of the Caribbean. But if you've got a kid at home, yeah, throw this on.